And welcome, fans of flip clocks. This is Mackie with flipclockfans.com, and you're looking at the Panasonic RC-7469. This is a tutorial about how to replace the bulbs in this clock. So we're going to tell you about the types of bulbs and how to do the replacement. So what we've got is for this, the dial of the clock right here. It uses a miniature bulb number 46 screw-in base, and you're going to get to see how that and how to replace that. The dials for the FM and for the AM uses the number 40 miniature bulb, and I'm going to show you here how this lights up. So that's for the AM FM dial, and you flip over here, and that's for the AM dial. Now the clock is a very nice clock. I like it because it's got wood panels on the sides. It's very handsome, and it has a nice sound to it. So very nice clock if you get one, and if you need the bulbs replaced, it's doable. We're going to show you how to do it today. So first thing you want to do is to get your work area ready. You're going to be taking the knobs off first. We're going to start with this one here. That's the knob for the sleep timer. So you just pull that straight up, as with most knobs on Panasonic, just pull it straight up. Now if you look at this one, you're going to see a metal band around the post, or the end here that goes on top of this post. And if that band is missing, it's going to be on that post most likely. You'd look in there. So now, of course, this one we're just going to pull straight up. And I think I'm going to have to use both of my hands here. We'll pull up here and here. So we're ready to disassemble. You're just going to have to flip over. It's pretty straightforward as far as taking it off. There's that nice wood panel I was talking about. It is laminate, but it is still pretty cool. We better power down here because we still have the light plugged in. Safety first. So we're going to go ahead and flip over. There's not that many screws to take down here. We have the two posts, the motor in front and two screws in the back, and that's for the clock mechanism. So if my math is right, that's 6 screws we're going to take down here. So while I'm taking the screws out here, we'll just talk about the bulbs themselves. The clock light uses the number 46 miniature. It's called an E10 base. It's a 6.3 volt, 25 milliamp that you can get online. www.bulbtown.com, and then 1000bulbs.com. That is 100bulbs.com. Both are good companies. Looking at this screw here, this is the motor mount. Just remember, it does have the washers on them. If you take all your screws out. Now the posts do too. They have washers on them too. I've looked at the back screws. Looks like they may have had washers at one point. Someone may have lost those. They like to use washers back in the day of the old clocks. So we'll get these screws off in a safe place. So when you take this off, you reach back from the back. You're going to lift up from the back first to about a 30 degree angle, and it pulls straight out. Now getting that sucker back in is not as easy as it's going to look like. We'll show you that here in a little bit. So to go ahead and release the clock mechanism, there's another screw to take out right there. So we'll have to take that screw out so that allows us easy access to the mechanism. This clock's got a lot of room to work. It's easy to get around in. Just a real nice clock to work with. So we'll get this screw out of the way. It's got a reddish tint to it, if that helps you recall when you're reassembling. Lift out gently. So what you see there is that's the light right there. There's a paper covering on the light. I believe that helps to direct the light. It probably has some heat shielding properties. What you got there looks like fingernail polish, and it's like a sealant, and you might have to break that loose to get that to start to screw. I unscrew the whole thing together. Instead of trying to pull the paper thing off, you will likely rip it. I've done that before. So here we're going to just kind of pry that bulb out. It's not too hard to get that out. You just take your time. You don't want to crush that container there. So if you take a look, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but so you can tell I'm not lying to you, it is a 6.3 volt, 0.25 amp bulb. The older bulbs are better bulbs. Your newer bulbs, they say, are not as well made. They only have a 3,000 hour life, but the older ones seem to last longer. So when I go to put that back on, I just put it back in the container and screw it all in together. Again, instead of trying to push that on top of the bulb once I've screwed in, this is just easier. And at the end here, I just adjust that cardboard tube so that it's direct down at the numbers like it should be. So that's pretty straightforward to replace that bulb. Now we're going to look at the lights for the dials. And these aren't too bad to get to. You got one here and one there for the FM, for the AM. Now there's posts there that they're kind of, let's see if you can see that they're kind of adhered to there. It just slides on there, almost like an electric connector. So sorry to block your view there, but what I'm doing is I'm just trying to just north and south there, just kind of wiggling, and it comes out easier that way instead of just pulling straight. I kind of jiggle it up and down, and it comes straight out like that. It's not too hard to do that. Sometimes there'll be sealant on these bulbs here to kind of keep them in place, I guess, for shipping and for all that. But it's just push back in once you've unscrewed the bulb, replaced it, push it right back in. There's no disconnecting the electric or anything like that. Of course, make sure you've unplugged your clock. You may get an unhappy surprise if you don't. So you can see it's pretty straightforward to get this clock back in shape with your bulbs. Now this is the booger. This is where you're going to try to get this cover back on, and it should just go straight in. I've worked with this to try to get that figured out. If there's a system, there's 3 tabs there that have to go underneath that silver or the probably aluminum bezel, but you can see here these posts are not centered in that circle, so I don't have it in right. So don't force anything. Just take your time, work it. You can see on the left there, that's not wanting to get in. So that one's gotten in there. And then on this corner, it's raised up. And so I'm going to try again. Like I said, I've practiced it a few times to see if there's not a tip I can give you to get it in better. And I just can't find one. I just work it. See, that's in the center. All those are centered pretty much. And that's pretty much it. And if you were watching closely, you noticed that I forgot to put that screw back in that holds the clock mechanism in place. But I'm sure you won't do that. If you need any help, come visit us at flipclockfans.com.